This is my first virtual reality interview. I'm in virtual reality right now with Richie over here to my left and Shay, who's the cameraman. So where I'm looking, I see another cartoon person, and that cartoon person is actually filming me and Richie in this virtual world. And the virtual world we're in right now is made by these two guys, and it's called Daydream Blue. It's $10 available now on the Gear VR powered by Oculus. So this is kind of an amazing thing. You can download this app exactly as you could download an app to your phone, and strap the phone to your face, put on the Gear VR goggles with the phone placed into the goggles, and then feel like you're in this virtual world. So when I move my head left, when I look left, I see Richie here. And when I look right, I'm looking back at the camera. When I look over here, I see a bunch of trees. And when I look over here, I see a lake, a beautiful lake, and it looks like there's a whale going by. Hadn't seen that before. But it's very natural. I'm in California right now, physically, in the real world. But Richie here is in Kentucky, and we feel like we're sitting or standing together in this virtual world. It's kind of important how easy it is to pull this off today. So I thought it would be interesting to talk to these guys and ask them how they built this and what we can do in this particular virtual world. And yeah, let's go from there. So Richie, can you tell me about what this is and what we can do here?
Sure. So this is the world of Daydream Blue, and it's a world and a game we've been building since about April of this year. We started with the Oculus Mobile VR Jam, and we built a prototype of the game. We were fortunate enough to win the gold prize in that. And the one thing we felt that we really wanted to do that we didn't explore in the jam was to bring people together, so to add multiplayer. So for the past 6 months since the jam, we've been working on the single-player core game, and we released that in September, but we've also been working every week on multiplayer. And just a couple of days ago, we launched our beta multiplayer on the Gear VR store. So here we are, we're in the world. Shay, if you wanted to kind of show maybe the lake out in front of us, it all takes place in this valley that you can explore, and you can go to different locations there. You'll see these kind of yellow orbs floating. That's your method of travel as you go from spot to spot. And there's different kind of games and things to play everywhere you go.
I look at one of these orbs and press the pad that's on the side of the Gear VR, and I teleport to that orb, basically, right?
Correct. So you teleport there, and the reason that we teleport is that we wanted to make a game that is very comfortable and accessible to people that want to play VR but aren't necessarily very kind of experienced in it. So we want something that puts the user first, and they feel comfortable and relaxed in there, and they don't have any discomfort or issues with nausea or these things that can happen in VR. And so you just kind of teleport around. In fact, if you wanted to, we could all teleport somewhere right now, and I could show one of the games that we have. If we want to go over here, and maybe if Shay, you'll go. I'll go first, and then Shay can go. Come on over. Oh, hey.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, so we teleport over here, and now we're over in the stone skipping area. So if I pick up one of these stones, I can skip them in the water. But we want to build a place that surprises people and gives them things that they can't do in the real world. So when you pick up stones now, these poles raise out of the water. And if you throw the rock, so you swipe forward on the pad, on the touchpad, and you can throw your rock. And if you hit the poles, then they make musical chimes, and there's a sequence of them that will actually kind of solve the puzzle, which is it'll go from low to high musical notes. So I actually got a level up just now. That's it. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so, and as you do that, we actually acquire what we call monies, which is just a way to get more stuff. So more hats, more hair for your avatars. We're building, we have some stuff that you can buy some recipes in the vending machine. We have a vending machine inside a rock that allows you to buy recipes to figure out things to craft. So there's a way to craft a golf ball or a dart gun, and you can do this at any time, but if you don't know how, you can get hints with kind of the monies that you collect while you play. The really cool thing about virtual reality is that you can be with your friends regardless of where you are in the real world, but also what time you are. So maybe it's raining outside and it's the middle of the day, but you'd like to hang out at night. So I am actually going to adjust the time of day and drop it into like early night here. And anybody could do that on their backpack by just changing the clock on their backpack. Yeah,
awesome.
So there you go. Now you're going. So it's going wildly through the day. This is actually my favorite time of day right here with the sunset. But yeah, so we can go back and show some fishing. We can go over to the fishing hole. Right now we only have the one fishing pole, so people have to fight over it. But you know, I could throw it here and I could fish, hang out with other people. Shay, why don't you grab the boombox and pull it over here and just throw on a tune real quick and you can see. Yeah, maybe turn it down a little bit. But yeah, you put on some music while you're playing.
I love the fishing. It's so relaxing.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the thing is the idea of just being able to relax and get away from the world. But then when you can do it with your friends, then it becomes a lot more kind of fun and playful as well. So actually, one of the things that we do sometimes is we just go out to the water, put it to nighttime, especially when we were in California, and we would just hang out with our friend we were supposed to be testing, but by the end of the night we just end up sitting there in the water and talking about what's going on, and it's cool. It's like you get the same information from the voice from a phone, but what's different is that you get their body language, you see how they're looking, but more importantly, you feel like you're near them. I mean, it's such a strange experience that I mean, it's just only possible in virtual reality. I've never experienced it before, virtual reality, of feeling right next to somebody else.
You know, how did you guys end up working together, and what kind of skills did you have to have and time commitment did you have to put in to pull this off?
Well, so skill-wise, I am on the art side and Shay's on the programming side. It's not that, it doesn't break down that simply on a day-to-day basis because there's only two of us. We have some help sometimes from contractors, but the majority of the game has been built by us two. So on a given day, there's all sorts of tasks that we have to do. Yeah, Shay has a degree in CS, computer science, and then we worked together at Superstol, the previous company that I was a part of, for 2 years. And I think we've been using Unity the whole time. I have an art background, but it was actually in fine art, so I kind of self-taught with 3D modeling and that kind of stuff. But use Maya, Photoshop, those are the two main programs that I use for creating 3D art assets. It's very easy to get started now with engines are free, like Unity's free. Maya costs money if you're not a student, but you can get Blender, you can get GIMP, which is a free alternative to Photoshop. So it's very easy to get the tools to start learning how to build, which is great.
If you spend another year building this, how much is it going to change, and how much better is it going to get than even this impressive situation we're in right now?
We have plans of where we want the game to go over the next 6 months and year. And it gets pretty weird, but in an awesome way. Like, we've got some pretty wild ideas about how we want to build this game out. And what's cool is that after January, we're going to start on our first kind of big additional feature. Well, not necessarily a feature, but basically we're building a new area to go to. That's going to be all brand new that you go to. There's going to be new games and everything to explore there. So we want to keep doing that. We want to build out in all these different directions and start at the valley, but have these different places you can go. We've got all these things in documents, and we want to build them all. We're trying. One of the things we're trying to figure out is how we can get some, get some money from sales to maybe bring on a couple more people, so it's not just the two of us. Because the reality is, because there's only two of us, we do work a lot. Work every day. Usually, I don't know, 10 hours, 12 hours a day. We find time to play video games, and we're going to do some traveling in January and just work while we're traveling to kind of keep our sanity. But we do tend to end up working, especially the past few months, every day, all day, every day, all day.
When did you get your first spark of interest in a VR headset, and how did you decide to make that jump to putting in the amount of time that you did to make this?
When we originally got a DK1 shortly after the Kickstarter, I think just because we missed the Kickstarter, because it just, the idea of VR at an affordable price point was too much to pass. And then we tried it, and we were amazed. So we were like, we want to do stuff with this. But the reality was, back then we were doing other games, and we were kind of tied to some contract with educational game development and stuff, non-VR. So we put it on the back burner. We didn't really do anything, but we wanted to. We were at GDC for a weird kind of experimental game we made where you actually, we modded Xbox 360 controllers, and then you raced them, like by rumbling them. And I caught John Carmack's talk, and he was talking about mobile VR, and it's happening this year, and it seemed like a perfect time to give it another go. And then the jam was going on, and so we just made a game for the jam that we thought, regardless of what happens, because we may not be making games, after this, we may not make VR games, who knows? So let's just make something that we think would be great, that we feel like really kind of takes advantage of what VR can be, and leave it at that. And then when it won money, then it was like, okay, now we have our chance. So ever since then, we've just been all in to make this game to make it as awesome as it can be, and then to learn from this so that we can keep making more games, and just be a VR game studio.
Do you kind of have any expectations for what people are going to do in here?
I mean, what we would like is to be surprised. Like, if people were playing, or not even playing, if people were experiencing this place and kind of their ritual of coming here, what they did here, was something we never thought about, that would be amazing for us, because we've tried to build it so that we give people like a place to go to be and to play in and to explore, but we don't want to tell people how to necessarily play. That's why we don't really have a linear kind of progression, and there's no way to really win. So yeah, it would be amazing, and we think right now people tend to play kind of a bit more traditional, like they come in and play some games. Some people tend to kind of do the tasks on the board, but we have heard of people that just like to come in here and lay on the raft and look up at the clouds. And I had some of the other day that told me that they like to go on the raft and look up at the clouds and relax. And one time they fell asleep. When they woke up, they were so confused as to where they were because they were in virtual reality. Like, that's pretty cool. Somebody caught a catfish.
Yeah, I decided to fish while we were talking. Yeah, How do I put it in my backpack?
So if you swipe down there, and so now you're in front. If you just hold the touchpad, you'll put it in your backpack.
Okay.
So now it's in your backpack.
So now I have a fish for later.
Yeah, you can cook it. Oh, we didn't show the robot. Have you seen the robot actually? Yeah. So I'll just hit this deliver robot. It's trying to go right through the day. Oh no, there we go. So we called the robot in. You can hear the airplane coming over. You look up above, you'll see our delivery. And then straight up in the air, coming down is our box. Alright. And now if you tap on that, so this is Ralph. In single player, he actually has voice commands and everything. But I can pick up, so Shay's picking up the golf ball. You can see if Shay throws the ball, Ralph will go run after it. He'll play fetch. You can feed Ralph. He apparently just knocked his controller into the water. So like, and you can see you have these commands. So like if I tap jump, he'll wait, jump. There he goes. So in single player, you can actually say jump and he jumps. But in multiplayer, you just tap the buttons, and so I guess, well, he likes to just barge through things. Yeah. So he's like, hey, look at me. Go over there. Laser light looks nice at night. So we go back to the main camping site. So I think I actually have the stuff to craft a golf ball. Yeah, so I can throw a couple logs in the fire. So you see this hatchet I got. This I actually chopped down some wood with this hatchet, but for now I can just throw it. Well, I'll just throw it in a tree, yeah. Well, I missed. So it would have gone in a tree had I been able to aim. Throw a rock in there, and then... I don't have a coconut. Actually, I'll be back in a second.
Fixed it for us.
Oh, yeah.
That's amazing.
Good job, Ralph. I didn't really want it, but way to go. Oh, it hit his head. Alright, I will be back. I'm going to go grab some wood real quick. Yeah, so I went and chopped the trees, and I got a coconut here. I forgot any wood, I need a coconut. So I throw the coconut, and I light it on fire. And so this is our crafting. I'm going to make a golf ball. And I wanted to show this because this is really cool. So it looks like everybody got a level up there. So I got this golf ball, and if you'll look out over the lake to the hills on the other side. So I'll throw the golf ball. And now we'll start, let me get it in the hole, and we'll start playing a golf game on the hills. So I'll join, and if you want to join, and we'll start. And I go first, and if you look at me, you'll see a little golf ball above my head. So it shows that it's my turn. And if you look back, you can see me, well, it's my turn playing golf.
So I'm tapping the touchpad, pulling it back like an angry bird, and releasing.
And you might, no, it's gonna roll back. So I might change the lighting here to give us a little better lighting. Oh, whoa, look at that. Bright. A little more. There we go.
Did you ever play World of Warcraft? I've always heard people talk about World of Warcraft and, you know, things like EVE Online. Did you ever spend any significant time in playing those games, and how does this differ if you have?
So funny enough, I haven't, but the reason I haven't is because I spent a lot of time playing Warcraft 2 and Japanese role-playing games like Final Fantasy, and those were single player, and I spent a lot of time there. And so I was always afraid that if I went into massively multiplayer online games, that I would just just live there. Which I guess isn't a bad thing. I kind of wanted to learn how to make my own, and I thought I'd never if I found one.
And learn how to make the game first before getting addicted to this.
Well, I mean, we want people to love being here, but we don't want people to. We want to make a game that actually makes you look forward to hopping in. You meet your friends there, and you come out and you're happy and you feel better. We don't want to make something that you feel compelled to always be in, because one of our mottos is to make games that make people smile, and so we don't want you to exist here only, unless you're rich and you have an IV or something. We want it to be something that you come to for a while, and when you come back out, you're very happy that you went there, and you had a good time there, and you hung out with some friends, and so we're building some things to allow you can come in and the money system for the future, we'd like to have it so maybe you could come in, you could buy a house or build a house for Ralph, a little place for him to live, and you can kind of work on that a couple of days out of the week and finish it.
I think a lot of people are going to discover this app in the next couple weeks and months, and I appreciate the opportunity to sort of be in this place with you guys and learn about it.
Yeah, no problem. So while you're talking behind you, Ralph is throwing the ball and chasing it by himself, probably because nobody's playing with him. But yeah, thank you so much for coming and doing this. I mean, we're just happy to share it with people. We've been working really hard, and we've been testing it with ourselves and a few friends for months now, and now we can actually let people come in and try it out and tell us what they think.
I should get out of here before I get too addicted.
Awesome. Thank you, Ian. And I'll see you
Thank you
again
guys.
sometime inside.
All right, I'll see you guys.
Okay, see you, man. Thank you.